But now that particular outlet of the F&B service is to be considered as IRD service, where IRD stands for in-room dining service. Moving to the second outlet of the F&B service, which is known as the banquet. Third is the fine dining restaurants. Fourth can be the bar and the pubs or maybe the lounge. And fifth can be, you can say that the coffee shop or any kind of a multi-cuisine restaurants. So these are some of the outlets of an F&B service. We know very well, in whichever the outlet we would work, almost in all the outlets, somehow we have to deal with the crockeries and cutleries, including the glasses. So basically, it is the responsibility of the server, like whenever any server is serving any beverage means any drink to the guest, that particular beverage has to be served in a very clean glass. Likewise, whenever any service is done in regard to any food items, then any variety of the plates that particular service person has been using, that again has to be very clean, including the cutleries. So in today's practicals, we are going to learn basically three to four activities we are going to do. In the first activity, I am going to teach you, or I am going to show you practically how to wipe the glasses. In the second activity, we are going to learn how to wipe the cutleries. Maybe if a slight amount of time will be left, then in that scenario, I am going to teach you two different types of the napkin fold. In the napkin fold also, we are going to start with the basic one. So let me call our lab assistant. Whenever this task you will have to perform, the first thing is you will have to pick. So the first thing is you will have to pick a big salver, and on the top of that salver you have to cover with the salver cloth, or if you don't have the salver cloth, then in that case you can go with the waiter's cloth. Generally, we don't have to place the salver on the table, but in order to make you view exactly how to lay down the waiter's cloth, that's why I have been placing it on the table. But generally, you are not supposed to place the salver on the table. So, after placing it, you will have to fold it nicely from all its ends. And now the salver is ready. Now our lab attendant is going to bring approximately 10 different shapes and variety of the glasses from the bar counter. So now we are placing the glasses in front of the screen. Most of these glasses are not wiped properly. So after placing the glass, very important thing is whenever you are picking any of the glass, always you need to pick it from its base, like that. And now, before actually the wiping is going to proceed, I am just going to show you how we need to use our wiping cloth in order to wipe the glass. The first thing is, see, these are the two ends. These are the two corners. This is the first corner and this is the second corner of the tablecloth. Again, I am showing you. Just see, this is the first. As you can see, this is the whole tablecloth, or you can consider it to be the wiping cloth. So first of all, we need to pick its two ends. These are the two ends. This is the first end and this is the second end. After using that two end, we have to pick the glass. As you can see, now I have picked the glass. And this is the one end of the table or wiping cloth. So by using the wiping cloth, by its one end, I have been picking the glass. Next, the second end. This is the second end, if you can see. This is the corner of the second end. This second end, I need to insert it inside the glass. I need to keep it inserting inside the glass. Till, as you can see, again repeating, I need to put one end. This is the another end. I need to keep on putting this end inside the glass, as I have been keeping it inside the glass till the time I see this glass is having enough of the wiping cloth. And I don't have to use my fingers directly to the glass. I don't have to touch the glass directly with my hand. As you can see from the base, I have been placing my hand like this. And this base, I am going to use it to twist the glass. So I have been moving this glass like this. And on the other hand, if I can show you, I have been putting the thumb. I have been putting my thumb inside the glass. Here I have put my thumb inside the glass. And if you can see, all my fingers are around the glass, but basically not touching the glass. So this is how I am going to wipe the glass. As I have been wiping the glass, and while wiping the glass, I have been moving from its base. And I have been holding the glass gently. If I have been going to hold this glass tightly, then maybe the glass is going to get break. And this, by this round motion, I have to wipe the glass. If you see precisely, my thumb is inside and all the fingers are basically surrounding the wiping cloth along with holding the glass. And from the base, I have been rotating the glass. And this I need to keep on rotating like this only, at least around 15 to 16 times. Now I have wiped it thoroughly. Now, and this was the place where I had put my thumb, and this was the way I had surrounded the wiping cloth around the surface of the glass. Now by enough wiping, I need to remove it out. Once it has been removed, still we need to wipe the glass from this edge. So again, I am going to hold the glass like this, not by directly touching the glass, because if I am going to touch the glass, again my fingerprints will come on the glass. So I don't want my fingerprint to come on the glass. And I have been wiping the surface around the glass only, because from inside the glass has been wiped thoroughly. As I can see precisely, the glass is there, and as you can see, the glass is wiped thoroughly. So before actually checking it whether it has been wiped thoroughly or not, again I have to see it against the light. After seeing it against the light, if I'm not going to find any watermark or any kind of a mark on that, then it means I have cleaned the glass. And while placing the glass also, I need to hold it always from its base. Otherwise, the fingerprints are going to appear around the surface of the glass. This is how the wiping of the glass is supposed to be taken care of. Yes. Classes are going on. So this is how you need to wipe the glass. Now our practical attendant is going to wipe the glass one by one, and I am going to help you out in between also. Keep on watching how he has been holding the glass. He has put the thumb inside the glass only along with the wiping cloth, and he has been wiping the glass by making a round rotation with the base of the glass only. And now he is wiping around the surface of the glass from outside, because from inside he has wiped it. Keep it slightly low. Now he has wiped the glass. As you can see, he has wiped the glass properly. There is no watermarks around the surface of the glass. This is how you need to keep on wiping the glass. After that, we will move on to the cutlery. There is one more thing that I must let you know. Like in industry, generally you find most of the glasses generally come out from the kitchen stewarding department in the steamed format only. That all the glasses are supposed to be like go through the steam part. So if the glasses are subjected to the steam part, then it is very easy to wipe the glasses thoroughly. And even that could be considered as one of the steps to sanitize the glass. So keeping that view in the mind, in order to simplify our process of wiping the glasses, here we are going to use the steam. So here we are going to steam the glass. Now our lab attendant is going to bring a pot of the boiling water. And while doing the practical also, while appearing for your practical exam also, there actually you don't have to use the steam. But here, as it happens in the case of a hotel industries, because in hotel industry, whenever you get the glass, most of the glasses are basically gone through the steam. So here we consider as if this is the boiling water. So here around the boiling water, we are going to subject the steam. And now, if you will wipe the glass, now even this time we will get better results. So whenever any wiping will be done, not directly, but by using or by taking the help of the steam, then it would be very easy to wipe the glass. And even this can be considered as one of, just as you can see, the clarity or the shine. This is the martini glass. Now, our lab attendant is going to wipe all the glasses by using the steam of the boiling water. Sometimes while wiping the glass, you also find some mark will be there. So that particular mark, in order to remove that particular mark or any kind of a stain or spot, you need to sometimes put some hot water into it. So while after putting some hot water into it, then again it becomes very easy for us to wipe the glass thoroughly. There is one thing that you must understand, and that is whenever you see any glass broken around its rim, again repeating, whenever you see any glass broken around its rim, rim means the top part. So this is from where I have been holding the glass. This is known as the stem. This is the base. This is the glass bowl, and this top one is known as the rim, where the guest is going to touch his or her lips. So this is the rim. So whenever we see there is any glass or any part of the rim which is broken, so that glass is supposed to be considered as chipped glass. And we should never ever use the chipped glass in order to serve any beverage to the guest. So while doing any beverage service to the guest, we are not supposed to use any chipped glass. So use of the chipped glass is basically avoided. In hotel industries, you can say that within 10 to 15 minutes of a time, you have to at least wipe more than one crate of glass. That will include approximately 36 glass has to be wiped within 10 to 15 minutes time. And as far as the time which is supposed to be taken for single glass, it should not be more than 30 to 40 seconds. So that's why you need to develop the speed while wiping the glass. So when you will go for your IT also, for your industry training also, there generally in most of the 5-star hotels, they will not directly allow you to go and interact with the guest. Maybe you will not be in the position where you will directly go to the guest and you will start interacting with the guest, taking their orders, because you might not be knowing the knowledge about the menu which is supposed to be served in the F&B outlet. So generally interaction of the guest directly is avoided for the industry trainee also. And in case of an industry trainee, generally they are given the job which are basically assigned to the steward. The job means wiping the glasses, wiping the cutleries, clearing the clearance tray. So all these work are supposed to be done by the industry training while you will be on the internship. So now as you can see, almost all the glasses have been wiped thoroughly. Now while holding the glass, always we need to pick it from its base. So I can keep on repeating the basic things. Now our lab attendant is going to pick all the glasses from its base, and as all the glasses have been wiped thoroughly, and he is going to keep it at the bar counter. So this is all about the wiping the glasses. Now we are going to focus on the wiping of the cutleries. How the wiping of the cutleries is supposed to be done, again by using the wiping cloth. First is you need to first of all pick all the cutleries from your side station. You need to pick all the cutleries from the side stations, and those cutleries again you need to put it inside this boiling water. This water has already been boiled. I think again we need to spend some more time in order to boil the water. Now the glasses part is almost over. Still the water is hot. So now again by using the salver with the weightless cloth around it, our lab attendant is going to pick the cutleries from the side station. Now our lab attendant is going to pick the cutleries from the side station. Now all these cutleries, again I am repeating, the salver is not supposed to be placed. Again I am repeating, the salver is not supposed to be placed on the table. But just to give you an idea, like how we are going to wipe the cutleries, due to that reasons only we are keeping it on the table. So all these cutleries, generally we have to keep it inside the hot water before actually going for its wiping. And this salver we have to keep it at the side. Before actually the wiping has to be done, the very first thing is all the cutleries has to be put properly inside the water. Now we have kept all the cutleries inside the water. The water is slightly hot, so you have to keep it at least for some moment of time. After that, again the same principle. This to be considered as the wiping cloth. We have to use its two of the ends, and basically those two ends has to be dried one only. So if while wiping I am going to feel like two ends are getting wet, then obviously I have to change my directions. I will have to use only that particular part of my wiping cloth which I myself feel are dry. I need to pick all the cutleries, at least the cutleries which I can easily be able to hold in my left hand. So here I have placed all the cutleries in my left hand, and here the same principle is there. The principle says like you will not have to directly touch the cutleries with your bare hands. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, if you are going to touch the cutleries with our bare hands, then automatically our fingerprints are going to be come on the cutlery. So this is the way. So this is my hand, and this is the wiping cloth. I have been holding from one of the ends. I have been holding the cutleries. From the other end, I have been wiping it. While wiping it, as I can see, this is the fish knife. So I have to keep it at one side. Again, this is again, as you can see, fish knife is there. So I have to keep it in the category or in the group of fish knife only. As I can see, this is the service spoon, the largest spoon. So I have to keep it aside. So I have been doing two things side by side. One is I have not only been wiping the cutleries, but while wiping these, as you can see, this is the fish fork. While wiping these cutleries, I have been segregating the cutleries also, so that it becomes very easy for me to stack all these cutleries at the end of the whole wiping. So this is the fish knife. So I have been keeping the fish knife at one place while wiping it. And now, as I can feel, this end of my, you can say that wiping cloth has gone slightly wet. So I'm going to change the part. And this again, I have been wiping it. So as you can see, I am not only wiping the cutleries, but along with that, I have been segregating. Segregating means separating the cutleries according to their type. Now our lab attendant is going to do the wiping further. While actually appearing for your practical exams, there, in order to avoid any kind of an mishappening, we will generally not direct or give direction to the candidates to do all the activities by using the boiling water or the hot water. But in case of an viva, you will have to tell like we have to use the hot water. And once, obviously, this time I think most of you would be going to appear for your offline practical exams, for your end-term exams. In that scenario also, rather than using the hot water, you can use the normal running tap water. One very important thing, whenever you are using the tap water also, that tap water should not be hard water. It should be clean water only. It should be clean drinking water only. It should not be hard water. If it will be salted water or the hard water, what will happen? While you are doing the wiping, ultimately that particular salt is going to be get deposited on the cutleries. And the whole of your efforts will be get wasted. So always you need to keep these things in your mind.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes, yes, please.
Sir, what we have to do in our practical notebook?
In your practical notebook, as you are seeing what the screen is going on in front of you, as far as you are talking about today's practical, right?
No, sir. The topics we have to do in the practical copy or that.
No, that I understood what you are asking. Are you talking about today's practicals or are you talking about the practicals that you have already finished?
Yeah, those we have to.
So, see, in the previous practicals, just hold on. See, if you talk about the previous practicals, in the previous practicals, I have given you the names. I have given you some of the pictures of the table on which we have kept all the equipments. And I told you at that time also, you will have to either draw with your free hands of those pictures of the equipments, or you will have to directly download from the Google and take out its printout and paste it on your FMD service journal or FMD service register, you can say that, practical register. As far as today's practical is concerned, as the steps are going on in front of you, and I have been recording this particular practical also, so that I can share the link with the rest of the candidates. So this whole things that I have been discussing with you, that all the do's and don'ts, right? We are not supposed to keep the salver on the table. First thing is we'll have to bring all the glasses from the, you can say that, the bar counter. Then we have to bring the boiling water. Then we have to show the steam to the glasses. Then by using both the hands and by using the wiping cloths and without directly touching the glasses, we need to wipe the glasses. Likewise. So all these steps you have to write down on your own. Clear? Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I am a new student. I haven't received practical file.
So maybe for that you will have to come to the college only. So maybe I think not for this week, maybe from the next week your offline practical is going to again restart. So maybe at that time you will get no problem.
Okay, sir.
Right. So I have not been even asking you to show me the practical lab file now only. Maybe that I am going to show you. That I am going to ask you to show me maybe once you would be appearing for your end-term practical exam. So before that, you would be having enough time for you to make that particular practical journal.
Yes, sir.
And as far as those candidates who have joined recently, for them it is advised from my end that they will have to directly contact with the CR. I think for girls the CR is Damini, and in case of an boys the CR is, I think, Virendra is there. So maybe these two candidates, would be the right persons to whom you are supposed to directly contact.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So now still we have enough time with us. So before actually going further for taking your attendance, before that I am going to show you two very basic napkin fold, and I will try my level best to teach you the napkin fold, at least 2 napkin folds in each practical classes, because according to me I think like being in F&B service means at least you must have to have the knowledge about at least 20 different napkin folds, right? So now we are going to begin or start with one of the basic napkin folds. So as you can see, all the napkins would be having 2 parts. As you can see, all the napkins would be having 2 parts. So this is the upper part and this is the base part. How come we are going to find out which one is the upper part, which one is the base part? The part where we are going to see the stitch. As you can see, the stitch of the napkin is there. So this stitch of the napkin is there. So this is the lower part. And this is the upper part, we can say that, right? So here, the lower part you have to keep it upside, and the upper part you have to keep it at the bottom. Practical. So this.
Sir, please repeat what you have said.
Yes, again I am repeating. Whenever you are using the napkin, so this is the upper part of the napkin, this plain part, whereas this is the lower part of the napkin, where we can see the stitch on the napkin, right? So whenever we are using the napkin, as right now the fold that I've been showing to you, in order to make that fold, we have to keep the stitch part upper side and we have to keep the plain part lower side, right? So as you can see on the screen, the first napkin fold that we are learning right now is known as the book fold. So how we are going to do the book fold? I need to fold it by making 3 parts. As this is the first part, under it there is second part, and this is the third part. So basically I need to three-fold it. Again repeating. This is the book fold, very simple fold, very easy fold. Generally we keep this book fold on the top of the side plate while taking the food order for the guest in the guest room. So this is one fold, and on the top of it I am going to again overlap. So basically I have made three-fold. Why I have been calling it three-fold? Because here we are having three layers. And again in the same way I need to repeat it from the other end. First, second. So very simple fold, very easy to learn, very easy to understand, and most frequently used in room service. This fold is known as the book fold. Again I am repeating right from the beginning. If you would be having, you can say that the napkin or maybe hanky at your hand, then you can also repeat side by side by seeing the video. As you can see, first fold, second fold. In the same way, first fold, second fold. And this, we have got the book fold. So this is the first fold, very simple, very easy fold to understand. Now, we are moving to the second fold, which is known as pyramid. Let's see how we are going to make this fold.
Sir, please repeat the name of the second fold.
Which one? Yes, the name of the second fold is known as pyramid. Pyramid. Why it is called pyramid? Because generally, once I am going to place it, then it is having the three sides, just like in prism only. So how come we are going to make this fold? First is, we need to fold this napkin diagonally, like this, by making triangle. So I have folded the napkin diagonally by making the triangle, as you can see. So again, my request to all of you, if you have the hanky at your home, maybe you can repeat the same process side by side if possible. Otherwise, don't worry. When your offline practical will continue, maybe at that time also I am going to revise the same. So now I have folded diagonally, as just now I have shown you. After that, considering this to be a straight line and considering this to be as an end, I am going to keep it at the top. Again, I am repeating. So, considering this to be as a straight line and picking the one end of this triangle, I am going to place it at the center in order to get this line on. So, this is the second step. After making a big diagonal triangle by folding it from the diagonal, after making a big triangle, then I have been keeping one of its ends by overlapping the top end. The same thing I am going to repeat it from the other end also. So again overlapping the middle line. So again I am repeating how have I done. This is the triangle, large triangle that is being formed by folding it diagonally. Yes. So I hope till this particular part, most of you have learned exactly what all the things that we have done. Now this part is very easy and we are just almost done. So we have to hold it and we need to fold it like this. Again repeating, we need to hold it and we need to fold it like this. See, from one end it looks like this and from another end it looks like this. And after folding it, then we have to make it like this. As you can see here, I'm going to show you from the other direction also. As you can see here, it has 3 surfaces, 1, 2, and 3. And from the top, it looks like this. So that's why it is called pyramid. So this is a pyramid in front of you. This fold is known as the pyramid. So again, I am going to repeat the practical right from the beginning. First, we need to fold it diagonally like this. After, we need to keep the pointed part of this particular triangle away from ourselves. This is one end. This is another end. Now we need to fold it like this. And from this end only, we need to. So this is our pyramid. So these are the 2 napkin folds. I think due to having some limitations of the online teaching, I think 2 folds in each practical would be more than enough. So by the time you would be finishing your 10 practicals, at least by that time you would be knowing not only the way or the name, but apart from that, the uses of the napkin folded also. Where do these napkin folds are basically used? So this napkin fold, as just now I have seen by the name of the pyramid, is generally used in mostly the fine dining restaurants. So whenever we use any napkin folding in the fine dining restaurants, we try our level best not to go with any kind of an, you can say that tricky kind of a thing, difficult kind of a napkin fold, because in all the hotels, whenever one guest just move out of the restaurants after having his or her meal, again we have to lay down the tablecloth one more time. So, but whichever the napkin fold that we have been following in the fine dining restaurants, the fold of that particular napkin has to be very quick to form. Then only it would be useful. So most of the, let's refresh 4 or 5 things that we have done in today's practical. First is how to wipe the glasses that we have learned. Second is how to wipe the cutleries, that also we have learned. I have shown you practical demo also. I have done the wiping of the glasses and the wiping of the cutleries not only by myself, and one of our lab attendants has also performed the same. Along with that, I have shown you 2 different napkin fold. One is very simple by the name of book fold, and second is to be considered as pyramid. So by this, the task of today's practical is over.